We're back and better than ever at the weekly Parsha podcast. Last week we had to take a week off because it was a busy week. The goal is never to take a week off, but with family and Torah and business, and thank the Holy Lord, it's all busy. Let's just say that my time needs to be a bit more disciplined to make sure that the weekly Parsha podcast comes out on Thursday evenings / Friday mornings. But this week, we rebounded. We're at Parsha Shelach, and it's the weekly Parsha podcast. The family's asleep. The deals have somewhat been closed. They've definitely been opened. The phone calls and texts have been made. The contracts have been authored. And now we settled down. A chance to learn. A chance to put our headphones on. Whether you're in the Motivation Congregation studios wearing the bulky, plasticky, leathery headphones, on the Staten Island ferry with the AirPods, or listening via Bluetooth on your way to the office, or on 24/6 on your way to yeshiva, or on your MP3 on your way to yeshiva. We welcome you into the weekly Parsha podcast, where we have about a half hour to talk about Yiras Shamayim and Torah, to weave together sources that make sense of all of the Parsha's context in a way that drives home a hardcore muster lesson with truth. And we start by having to know what Parsha Shelach is about. It's about 12 spies. It's about 12 spies that set off on a 40-day journey to search out the land of Canaan. After Hashem already promised them that the land was going to be flowing with milk and honey, they returned carrying huge clusters of grapes, pomegranates, and figs, and report about a lush and bountiful land. But then the 10 of the spies, they warned that the inhabitants are huge, a land of giants and warriors, and more powerful than we. We're like grasshoppers in their eyes, and they absolutely defame the land with some fabrications about the Holy Land. Crying ensues. Kalev and Yehoshua, the good spies, fight back. Vayahas Kalev. Kalev tries to quell the mob, but to no avail. The people weep. They weep in vain. They ask that it's better we return back to Egypt. Hashem decrees that this nation, this generation of the nation, shall be delayed 40 years before they enter into the land of Canaan, and they'll die out in the desert, only to have the next generation enter the land. The remorseful Jews have second thoughts and begin to think maybe we should march on Canaan, and we'll do it. We believe. Moshe says, don't. It's not going to work. But they don't listen. They're stomped upon as they storm the mountain on the border of the land of Canaan, and they're routed by the Amalekians and the Canaanians. The Parsha is a disaster for the Jewish nation. We then get two mitzvahs about the Nesachim and the Afrashas Chala. See the Rishonim and the Acharonim as to what the connection is between the rather abrupt detour from the narrative of the Jews entering into the land and the spies into the quick boom, boom of Nesachim and Hafrashas Chala. We then learn about the violator of Shabbos with the Makoshesh Eitzim before we get to our topic at hand this week of the mitzvah of the fringes of the mitzvah of tzitzit. Nestled into the end of the Parsha, we get where Hashem instructs a mitzvah to place upon the fringes tzitzit on the four corners of the garments, so that you should remember to fulfill every one of the divine commandments. Vayomer, says Hashem. Vayomer, says Hashem, and not Vayedaber, and take note of that. Vayomer Hashem al Moshe lemor, Daber el bnei Yisrael v'yomarto aleim. Take note as we, vujadeh. We, not deja vu, but we vujadeh. We relive anew an old topic, a rediscovery in a way that you have seen, or you will see with Hashem's help, tzitzit and the commandment, what's behind it, in a way that you've never seen before. Daber al b'nei Yisrael v'amarto aleim v'asu lahem tzitzis. Make for them tzitzis. Al kanfe vigdeim. Do it on the corners of their garments. L'doyroisam. Do it generation after generation, even though you don't know where the blue strand of Techeles is to be found. V'nosnu al tzitzis hakanaf. Put on the tzitzis that again is on the corner. Psil. Put on a psil. What does that word mean? Loosely, it means maybe like naftuli psil. Maybe it means psil like a thread. Utcheles. Put psil techeles. Put a fringe at each corner. Let it be tzitzis for you. Uri'isamoso. See it. See your tzitzis. Sounds like you shouldn't tuck in your tzitzis. You're supposed to see the tzitzis. There is a Gemara that talks about some Amoyroim that tucked in their tzitzis when they went into a base hakavaros, into a cemetery, so that the dead folks would not be loeg l'rash, wouldn't be lying in their kivarim, in their graves, jealous of the tzitzis, jealous of the mitzvahs that they could no longer do, as they saw the tzitzis dangling from the live men's corners. So they tuck them in. That's the commandment. Hide your tzitzis when you go in. But from there, many of the acharonim say, we see from here, vice tos, we see from here that the tzitzis were worn out because they were specifically tucked in when they entered into the base hakivarim. But that's neither here nor there. Uzachartem. The main goal is that you should remember the tzitzis. And that should remind you as kol ha-mitzvos, all the commandments of Hashem. V'asisavosam. But don't just remember them, but do them. V'lo sasuru acharei levavchem acharei einechem. The tzitzis are to remind you of Hashem's commandments and that you should not stray after your heart and after your eyes. Asher atem zoinim achareihem. The goal is the mantizkaru v'asisem is called mitzvahs. It's called mitzvahs. I remember Hashem's commandments, v'yisem kedoshim, and the end goal is to be holy. The end goal of the tzitzis is to be holy to your God. Before the Parsha concludes with the commandment of Ani Hashem Elokeichem Asher Tzesi Eschem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liyos Lachem Le'Elokim Ani Hashem Elokeichem Emes. It is true that God took us out, and the tikkun and the rectification in the world that happens when we reference that Hashem changed nature to take us out of Egypt, says that the Derech Hashem is the reason that this parsha is so significant and why we responded, says the Mishnah Brura, twice a day. We recited twice a day to remember the Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's why we say Vayomer at the end of Shema. The Gemara says that. But this week, it hit me. Out of this entire parsha, the words lo sasuru. V'lo sasuru. What does that mean? Don't stray, it says. We saw that word. It slapped me in the face. We saw that word. Where did we see that? I know. I saw when I was reading Shnai Mikra ve'Echad Targum at the beginning of the week. I just read that. When the spies, lo sasuru. What did the Parsha say about lo sasuru? It said when the men were going to look at the land of Canaan, it said lo sasuru. I know that word. It says shalach lecha anashim, send men. The very first pasuk I remembered. Vayasuru as Eretz Canaan. Go and explore. go and scout the land of Canaan. I remembered, again, a couple psukim later, it said, Lo Sasuru, that same word, when it said, Vaishalach osam Moshe, that Moshe sent the spies, the scouts, on the secret agent espionage snooping trial of Lasur Eretz Canaan. Lasur is the same word of Lo Sasuru. It made me think about it. Wait a second. Hashem doesn't want us to be spies? Lo Sasuru achrei levavchem, don't be spies? What do you mean spies? Don't spy after your heart? It made me think. Wait a second. Let me remake sense of the word Lo Sasuru achrei levavchem. Clearly, this is some sort of theme that's happening in Parsha Shelach. So I looked at Rashi, and Rashi read beautifully. It read like it's never read before. Says Rashi, V'lo sasuru acharei levavchem. What does that mean? Rashi says exactly what we've talked about. Lo sasuru is an odd word. It comes mikimo mitur haaretz. From earlier in the Parsha, Lo sasuru comes from the scouting of the land. When Moshe Rabbeinu said, come back after 40 years of exploring the land, the spies returned from searching. Mitur haaretz. From searching, from spying on the land. Very interesting. Hashem commands us not to be spies. Not to be spies after our hearts. Not to be spies after our eyes. That's what Lo Sasuru means. Continues Rashi. Halev v'hainayim he miraglim laguf. Oh my goodness. This is a Rashi I've seen many times, but it never hit like this. The heart and the eyes are literally miraglim. Lo Sasuru means miraglim. Don't explore, don't search, don't go on a reconnaissance mission of the eyes and of the heart. Continues Rashi. Misarsarim lois ha'averos. Because misarsarim is actually the English word. It hits deep in my heart. Misarsarim means a broker, a middleman. A seersor is a middleman. Rashi's telling us that the eyes and the heart are the middleman, the one who procures buyers and deals for averos. That's what the eyes and the heart are. Ha'ayin ro'eh, concludes Rashi. V'halev chomed, v'haguf osa avera. The eye sees, the heart covets, and the body does the sin. So let's read the Rashi all together. What does it mean? V'lo sasuru acharei levavchem kimo mitur haaretz. Don't let your eyes and your heart be spies. Rashi's explaining the word sasuru means spies. Art Scroll and other translations may loosely translate it as don't stray after your heart, but stray is the wrong connotation. Stray is the wrong translation. It's to be, don't let your eyes and your heart explore and spy out sin as a broker would spy out a deal. The eyes and the heart spy out sins to bring it towards the body till it eventually does sin, and don't do that. Instead, see tzitzis, see the fringes, see the techeles, and say no. Don't send the body straying, exploring, and spying after what the eyes and the heart, the brokers of sin, will bring. This Rashi slaps. It reads with such clarity. You see the friction that Rashi's deliberating upon. He's bothered by the word sasuru. He's quoting psukim to translate it and brings a mushal from Chazal to clarify it. It's now so clear. Rav Hirsch breaks it down. He breaks it down even more powerfully. Not more powerfully than Rashi, but in a way that slaps more powerfully to us. He brings it down lower to make it more low-hanging fruit. He explains to us the actual etymological definition of Sasuru comes from Tur Tuf Resh Vav, like Tur Tes Vav Resh, Tofar Tuf Pei Resh, joining in a row, which designates not only searching in general, but purely objectively searching of things in general, to join together two things, to see if they unite in harmony, to see if the known peculiarities of a thing, to get an idea of what really is going on, ... Before Rav Hirsch explains that Sasuru is a commandment where the eyes and the heart naturally bring to you what you're looking for. And that's this week's podcast. That's it. That your eyes and your heart will spy out for you what you're looking for. The wishing heart, the spying eye. It's a broker for you. It's Lo Sasuru's the commandment that do not be looking for your own selfish needs. You see, every single item that you come in contact with, your heart, your deepest wishes, will translate it after the eyes bring back the information of what it is, as is it good or is it bad? L'mashal, you'll meet a person. If you're a selfish person, no matter how nice or kind they are, if you are not somebody who's in control of your proper emotions and Yiddishkeit, if you're not serving Hashem, then you're going to meet this person, and Lo Sasuru Acharei Levavchem V'Acharei Einechem will bring to you opportunities for sin. If they are a wealthy person, you may want to maximize your own financial opportunities by scamming them. What an opportunity to befriend them, to be falsely kind to them so that you can maximize your profits, dear heart. That's what the eyes and the heart will say to you. Are they an attractive person that I can gain pleasure from them? Are they a powerful person that I could gain honor from them? See, when the deepest origins and genesis of your innermost longings are for selfish, egotistical wantings, then the heart and the eyes are sirsurim la'avera. They're just bringing you opportunities for sin as they scout out, just like a G.I. Joe's black, dark goggles scan the dark room, initiating different approaches to latch onto different opportunities. For 20 yards away, there stands a target of sin that I can approach to gain pleasure, to gain honor, to gain fame. The eyes and the heart, so too, bring to a self-serving, egotistical, self-worshipping person sirsurim la'avera, opportunities for sin. Read the Rashi again and hear it how Rashi says it. Lo sasuru acharei levavchem, the commandment, kimo mitor haaretz, to scout and spy the land. Hailei v'ha'inayim miraglim lakuf, the heart and the eyes are miraglim. Your heart and your eyes are miraglim. They may be miraglim like the 10 evil miraglim if you're self-centered and egotistical. But the commandment is to look at your tzitzit and to remind yourself that if your genesis, if the starting spot of what you're actually interested in life is God, if what actually is deep within your heart is v'yisem kedoshim elokeichem, then your heart and your eyes act like sirsurim, act like spies for good. They bring to you L'man tizkaru v'asisem es mitzvaysav yisem kedoshim l'lokeichem. They don't just simply wander around or spy for sin, but they bring to you a person. There's a person talking to us now, your eyes say to your heart. The heart says, this is a nice person. Maybe I can give them charity. If what stays in the heart is God, then your eyes and your heart are just scanning the room for mitzvah opportunities. The commandment of tzitzit is to see it, to remind yourself of what's holy, and then to then scout the room and scout the world for mitzvah opportunities. V'asisem es kol mitzvosai. A person who lives with self-centered wishes, then every time he walks down the street, his eyes and his heart are nothing more than scanning the opportunities for sin and for pleasure. But a person whose genesis, whose strength, and whose origin, whose seed in his heart is that I would like to commit myself to obedience to Hashem, then you look away. Then you look away from what is not obedience to Hashem. Because that is not what you're looking for. Not because it's a sin, but because that's not what you're looking for. Your eyes and your heart are meraglim lemitzvah. The commandment of tzitzit is to see and to remind yourself that you're supposed to be on the lookout for mitzvos. That's what's supposed to occupy your mind and your heart. You see, this happens in an amazing way. You could have two people that acting like terminators, like robots, like some sort of artificial intelligence could scan a table and find a hamburger on the table. And for one person, his lave and his einayim are sirsurim just for physical pleasure, and the other person sees within it a mitzvah, a bracha rishona, a bracha achrona, a chance to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The mitzvah of tzitzit is here to tell you that your heart should be in the right place, and you should run far away from ever having your eyes and your heart be sirsurim, be brokers for sin. That you should be holy. Sometimes I think this is actually what's at the root of so many of our problems. It's actually the longing of what you want in your heart. The people that are on the lookout for sin, for avera, for money, eventually they stumble because they're deep down looking for it. The mitzvah of tzitzit is to constantly stay focused. And it's not by coincidence that the most treacherous and damning debacle in Klal Yisrael's history that happens in Parsha Shelach, after all of these averos and opportunities that we got distracted, that it all ends in tzitzis. Many of the Balei Musar, they tell us that the Parsha is not a coincidence. It's to give us that tzitzis is here when everyone's getting distracted, when everyone is running after things that are distracting, when the eyes and the heart are bringing opportunities for sin. You have to see the tzitzis and remind yourself, a kabolas o malchus shamayim, of what I'm actually interested in, which isn't myself. It's in fact everyone else but myself. It's my partner, my children, my cousins, a stranger, the Borei Olam. That's what the mitzvah of tzitzis is. That's what it means, lo Sasuru. Lasur ha'aretz. The whole parsha from A to Z connects now. It's all about being spies. Don't be a spy for sin. but your eyes and your heart will naturally bring to you what you want. So the commandment is stay focused. Stay focused on the tzitzis. The tzitzis should remind you of the white strings and the 613 total knots, as Rashi says, or as the Ramban says of the blue strand. However you slice it, stay focused. And maybe even be a spy, but be a spy for what is truly deep down, which is that I want to return the good to the holy Lord, blessed be He. I want to stay focused and spy out mitzvah opportunities. That's what velo Sasuru means. Our Parsha comes full circle. And our lesson this week is that your eyes and your heart will spy out what you're deeply looking for. It's our job to stay focused. And it's our goal to be good spies. Velo Sasuru achari levavchem, but to look and see everything as an opportunity to be holy to Hashem and not, God forbid, to be selfish, egotistical, pleasure and honor seeking individuals whose eyes and hearts bring them nothing but opportunities for their own personal pleasure.
Kilam